Chairman, thank you. Mr. Secretary, I appreciate your being here. But I have to say I share the Chairman's negative view of this budget proposal. And I was especially disappointed that the President's budget calls for a 70%, 7-0, cut to DOE's Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. That, when energy efficiency is America's largest energy resource, it contributes more to our nation's energy needs over the last 40 years than any other fuel source, including nuclear and fossil fuels, and it is also the largest sector within the U.S. clean energy economy. It employs nearly 2.2 million Americans, the majority of whom work for small businesses. Now, one of the programs that is zeroed out as part of that office is the Weatherization Assistance Program, which has done a tremendous provided a tremendous benefit to people in New Hampshire and across the country. And by comparison, the cost of this program is relatively low when compared to much of what the DOE does. And it helps people like Neil and his wife from Manchester, New Hampshire, our state's largest city. They're both over 50, they're disabled, and they were granted assistance to insulate their home through the Weatherization Assistance Program. And Neil writes about that. He says, "We feel as if we've won the lottery. No words can express how our home has been made more comfortable and so much more efficient. We hate to even think of where we would be today had we not been recipients of these services." People who use the Weatherization Assistance programs are working Americans who are trying to stay in their homes, trying to take care of their families. These dollars help them do that. So can you please explain to this committee why we should cut support for critical energy efficiency programs that are creating jobs, stimulating the economy, and helping to reduce energy bills for American families and businesses?
Senator, I think from a former governor's standpoint, I would share with you that the administration's view of this is that that programs like that, particularly in a time when we do have to make decisions about how to rein our spending in, could best be made by the states. I know that the administration's focus here is on activities that are properly performed by, whether it's the federal government's responsibility or the state's responsibility. And I would argue that this is a program where to the states, given them the, and to the extent practical and as desired, will reprioritize their spendings to deal with those. If those programs are as important as what you reference, and I certainly think they are, then the states will pick up their fair share of those.
Well, Mr. Secretary, I've heard that response from a number of secretaries now within the President's cabinet, and I think you have a saying in Texas that we also agree with: that dog just won't hunt. The fact is,
I know what you mean by that.
We rely on resources that the federal government has promised us. We send more tax dollars to Washington, D.C. than we get back, and we think that these programs that make a difference for people in New Hampshire are very important. I have another question for you, Mr. Secretary, because I'm deeply concerned by reports that DOE has delayed awarding funds and in some cases is refusing to release funds altogether for various activities for which Congress has already provided appropriations. And on May 4th, your Chief of Staff, Brian McCormick, sent a memo to department heads within the agency stating that all pending and future funding opportunities would undergo additional review by DOE's Office of Management to ensure the grants are consistent with the President's priorities. Now, Mr. Secretary, I know, because you've been a governor, that you know that the authority of funding the federal government is held by Congress and Congress alone. So can you commit that DOE will spend funds according to the appropriated line items and report language included in the FY17 omnibus budget passed by Congress and signed into law by the President?
Senator, I have some new information just today on that issue that I want to share with you. In totality, we have now announced $595 million in awards to 489 different projects across our energy and science R&D programs. And we've also announced some $35 million that are going to be available through 5 new funding opportunities, FOAs. And I think it is common practice when a new administration comes in to review ongoing programs to ensure consistency with the administration's policies. And in this matter, we did initiate a full review, and that has been done, and we're issuing the rewards, and we'll issue funding opportunities as they move through the process. And you're absolutely correct. As a former appropriator and as a governor, I understand the process. I know who has the strings to the money.
So I know my time is up, Mr. Chairman, but do I then understand that you are saying that for dollars that have been appropriated under the FY17 omnibus budget, that the department will get those dollars out the door by the appropriate timelines that are in that budget?
That is my intent.
Thank you.